Gold Derby fans, welcome to the 15th annual Gold Derby Film Awards. We do this every year. This is you guys voting. This is our readers, our fans. I think some of the editors chime in as well, but our votes do not count any more than yours do. As a reminder, last year Mad Max won Best Picture, and the year before it was Boyhood. So we have not matched the Oscar Best Picture for the last 2 years. Will we match this year? Chris, you wanted to chime in something, right?
Oh, I was just going to say, for whatever reason, most of these categories are the actual winners were pretty much landslides. You know, it didn't matter. I think 6 or 7 out of our 22 categories are not landslides, and we'll let you know how the voting went on those a little bit.
All right, so the first award of the evening, we're going to start with Best Foreign Language Film. And the 5 nominees are Elle, The Handmaiden, A Man Called Uwe, My Life as a Zucchini, and Tony Erdmann. And the Gold Derby Film Award goes to Elle. Yes, snubbed by the Oscars.
Sweet. Enjoy your prize, France, for now. You don't have much coming up this weekend.
A lot of people think that Isabelle Huppert has a shot at the Oscars. So I think some experts are actually predicting her even.
She's got a shot, but I'm surprised that people are going for her, like, at this stage of the game. Like, you know, I mean, after the Golden Globe, it seemed like she had maybe a little bit momentum, but, you know, so it seems weird that now, since, you know, she was, you know, snubbed by the SAG Awards and she wasn't eligible at the BAFTA Awards, all of a sudden there seems to be a groundswell of you know, oh, can Isabelle Huppert win this? I don't quite see it, but I've obviously been wrong before.
And then moving on to Best Documentary Feature, the 5 nominees are Camera Person, I Am Not Your Negro, OJ Made in America, 13th, and Wiener. And the Gold Derby Film Award goes to OJ Made in America. OJ's having a great year with People vs. OJ Simpson winning the Emmys, and now this documentary could possibly win the Oscar.
Well, to clarify, OJ himself is not having a particularly great year. Having seen both the miniseries and the documentary, he's been better.
He's up for parole in a few weeks.
Oh, geez.
Wouldn't that top off a year for him?
So those races were both landslides, you were saying, Chris. There was no really...
Daniel's got the results in front of him. I think he's going to point out the ones that were kind of close.
Those were both relative landslides. It's not like there was no support for other contenders. Foreign language, there was strong support for Tony Erdmann and The Handmaiden and documentary. Really, the only other strong contender in terms of vote totals was 13th. So it wasn't like a complete blowout, but yeah, those were very comfortable victories.
Well, Daniel, you've got the next 2.
And that brings us to actually just have the next one.
Okay.
And that's Best Animated Feature. And the nominees are Finding Dory, Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, Sausage Party, and Zootopia. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Zootopia.
Sausage Party was robbed.
Yeah, this wasn't particularly surprising because it's the only animated feature that's up for Best Picture with us, and also screenplay. So that's not too surprising. Kubo did have a significant amount of support, but this is another one. It wasn't really close.
Well, I've got visual effects next, and the 5 nominees are Arrival, Doctor Strange, Kubo and the Two Strings, The Jungle Book, and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. That's a great 5 for us to nominate. And the winner, I think, as expected, is The Jungle Book from Disney. Could go on to win this weekend.
What's interesting about this category is that it wasn't close, but 2 through 5 were so evenly matched. They all had a lot of support, and if you maybe added them all up, they all could have beaten The Jungle Book together.
Wow.
And for Best Sound, we don't do editing and mixing separately. We just it's not that we don't honor those people. We just combine all the editors and mixers in one category, and that's really what the Oscars should do. No, I don't think most voters know the difference. Although certainly those guilds know the difference, but the just typical Oscar voter. But anyway, Arrival, Deepwater Horizon, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And our winner is La La Land.
And but this result was interesting. This was one of the closer categories, not razor thin, but closer than most. And the second place vote getter is not Hacksaw, which is the predicted sound editing winner at the Oscars. It's actually Arrival.
Arrival won the BAFTA for Best Sound, right? They have a combined Best Sound there too.
Hacksaw did well at the guilds this weekend, though.
So if you're keeping track at home, La La Land has won 1 trophy, so mark that on the board.
And that brings you to song.
Best Song. And La La Land has 3 nominations here. They have Another Day of Sun, Audition, The Fools Who Dream, and City of Stars. The other 2 nominees are Moana for How Far I'll Go and Sing Street for Drive It Like You Stole It. And the Gold Derby Film Award goes to City of Stars, La La Land.
And this was interesting because anyone hoping for a vote split at the Oscars, it might be meaningful to note that La La Land split the vote in this category significantly and finished 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Interesting. And then the next one will be Best Score. This may not be a surprise to many people, but let's do the nominees anyways. We have Arrival, Jackie, La La Land, Moonlight, and Nocturnal Animals. All very good scores. I listened to a lot of these last night when I was trying to get to sleep. And the winner is Justin Hurwitz's La La Land.
Yeah,
that's going to be one of the easier Oscars to predict, right?
Yeah. And this was an overwhelming blowout. I think this was the biggest landslide of the awards.
Wow.
I'm glad that Arrival at least got a nomination. I'm bummed Lion didn't get a nomination from us. Lion's score is very, very good.
Okay, that brings us to Best Production Design. The nominees are Arrival, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Handmaiden, Jackie, and La La Land. And the Gold Derby Award goes to La La Land.
So how many is this for La La Land? Production design, score, song, sound? Is that 4?
That's 4 so far, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this was surprisingly not close. I would have thought there might have been a challenger here, but there was some support around a few other candidates, and they really couldn't muster a challenge against La La Land. And then Best Makeup and Hairstyling. The nominees are Deadpool, Florence Foster Jenkins, Jackie, La La Land, and Star Trek Beyond. And
5 nominees, as there should
5
be.
nominees, absolutely. The Oscars do 3 as if there are only 3 movies that have makeup in them. During any given year. It's absurd. Like, just expand to 5 nominees. I would think that branch of the Academy would want it too. But our winner out of those 5 nominees is Jackie.
I thought you were going to say La La Land for a second. I think there would be riots in the streets if La La Land won makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah, La La Land, this is one of the few categories where La La Land really wasn't competitive at all. This was a fairly close race. Star Trek Beyond and Deadpool both had a lot of support, and they weren't far off.
It's funny, Jackie was the predicted winner according to our experts, editors, and everyone, the users and everybody at the Oscars, and then it didn't even make the short list for the Oscars. So I guess, people that liked Jackie were able to vote for it here.
Yeah, that one doesn't help us at all predicting for the weekend on that category. Film editing, we have Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. And our winner here, I believe he won a couple of years ago with us as well for Whiplash, and that's Tom Cross for La La Land.
And this was another one I was expecting to be closer than it was.
Really? I wonder if it's that final montage that really sticks with people.
That doesn't hurt. And I think that final montage definitely helps with production design also.
And costumes.
Yeah, without that in the movie, it would have been kind of like Birdman in some ways, which didn't get an editing nomination, in that, long takes, long, the musical scenes especially. So that was very smart. Costume design, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Florence Foster Jenkins, Hail Caesar, Jackie, and La La Land. And our winner here, second win tonight for Jackie.
Yeah, I recently moved Jackie over into my prediction for best costume design for the Oscars. I'm not super confident about it, but I feel like for La La Land, where La La Land is a front runner or close to the front, you really need that one clear choice. So you don't have a bunch of other candidates siphoning support away from each other. And I think Jackie has become that to a certain degree in the costume design race. It's like, if you're looking for a place to go somewhere besides La La Land, if you're marking it on your ballot over and over again, you look at costume design and go say like, okay, no, not La La Land there. Where am I going to go? Then you can check off Jackie.
I think so too, but Florence Foster Jenkins jumps out at me, and Costume Design Guild is tonight, so they have a period. La La Land will win contemporary. That's not going to help us at all.
Yeah.
But whichever of the two, Jackie or Florence, wins period costume design, I think that's what I'll go with for Sunday.
What's interesting here, though, is that Florence Foster Jenkins, even though I think I might have voted for Florence Foster Jenkins in this category, but it was not a factor. I'm actually kind of surprised. It has the most the showiest costumes, so I'm kind of surprised that it didn't really factor in a bigger way.
I voted for Arrival in every category. When it was not nominated, I did a write-in vote for Arrival for costumes. It was a brilliant film.
Oh, I remember those orange spacesuits. Okay, cinematography. Speaking of Arrival, that's in here. Jackie, La La Land, Moonlight, and Silence. And our winner is La La Land.
I think that's 6 for La La Land, 2 for Jackie, 1 for Jungle Book.
And 1 for Elle. And, and Zootopia and OJ Made in America.
Okay, so next it looks like is Best Breakthrough Performer. Am I in the right spot?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Breakthrough. This is somebody who they just had an amazing year. Maybe they were in just one project. Maybe they were in a ton of projects. We don't distinguish, one movie next to their name. It's just the name here. So the 5 contenders are Alden Ehrenreich. Did I pronounce that right?
Uh-huh.
Lucas Hedges, Janelle Monáe, Ruth Negga, and Anya Taylor-Joy. And the Gold Derby Film Award for Best Breakthrough Performer is Janelle Monáe.
And this was a squeaker. This was decided by 9 votes.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was going back and forth as I was checking the results. The second place finisher, 9 votes shy, was Lucas Hedges. So certainly the 2 films helped Janelle Monáe, and she's certainly having a good year with us. We nominated her for Best Supporting Actress. That category is coming up, and she's also up with the ensembles of both Moonlight and Hidden Figures. So she has 4 nominations this year, and she's won at least this one for now. Before more.
She's also the nicest person in the world.
A few hours before voting ended Sunday night, I checked. I was just looking at all the categories, and I got to this one, and she was ahead by 1 vote at that moment.
Wow.
I just thought, man, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yes, and for the record, I don't want to know the winners. I never look at the winners. I'm finding out right now with all of you guys who's winning these awards. And some of them are shockers, and some of them obviously are not.
Well, we love that we have a breakthrough performer category, and the next one you're about to announce, we have, and the Oscars don't have.
Yes, this is kind of our SAG category. This is Best Ensemble. And our 5 nominees matched up with SAG Ensemble, I believe 4 for 5.
Mm-hmm.
They nominated Captain Fantastic. We did not. So our 5 nominees are Fences, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. And the best film ensemble of the year is Moonlight.
Moonlight gets on the board.
Yes. People in that film.
That was a close one. That was a close one. That was
who was second?
Moonlight and Hidden Figures. Your beloved Hidden Figures.
Oh, so bummed. But Mahershala Ali gets an award here. It looks like Naomi Harris, Andre Holland, Janelle Monáe, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to the screenplay categories, starting with Best Original Screenplay. Our nominees are Hell or High Water, La La Land, The Lobster, Manchester by the Sea, and Zootopia. Not that I'm biased, but the Gold Derby Award goes to Manchester by the Sea.
Mm.
And I don't know how well our voters will indicate what the Oscars might be thinking. But La La Land, while La La Land did finish second, it was not that close a second. This was a decisive victory.
I've been switching that category at the Oscars back and forth and back and forth. Today I went back to Manchester by the Sea.
I think that's what I have right now, but anybody can talk me in and out of it at any given moment.
Right.
And that brings us to the Best Adapted Screenplay races based on material from another medium. The nominees are Arrival, which won the Writers Guild Award recently, Deadpool, Fences, Moonlight, which also won a Writers Guild Award, and Nocturnal Animals. And we have Moonlight here and adapted, just like it's adapted at the Oscars. Most every other awards group this season has had it in original, hence some confusion where this category is concerned. Our winner for Best Adapted Screenplay is Moonlight.
I think those are going to be the 2 Oscar winners, right? Moonlight and Manchester.
It feels like it.
Yeah. It's not quite as decisive as last year when it was very clear no matter what else happens, it's almost definitely going to be Big Short and Spotlight. It feels like there's a kind of consensus forming around these 2 films. Not quite as easily for original screenplay because the category, original adapted thing with Moonlight and La La Land and Manchester trading things back and forth. But this feels like the 2 for me.
One of my friends told me, yes, La La Land won original or screenplay at the Golden Globes, but last year the Globes went with Steve Jobs, and that wasn't even nominated at the Oscars. So the Globe track record here is not.
You remember what Critics' Choice did on this category?
They tied.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
Like the Producers Guild, was it a couple of years, or no, last year? No, a couple of years ago. No, it was the Gravity year. That's right.
Yeah, Gravity and 12 Years a Slave, they tied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, supporting actor, Mahershala Ali, Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Lucas Hedges, and Dev Patel. And this is another one tough at the Oscars, and our winner is Mahershala Ali.
Hmm.
And this was a very decisive victory. And what's interesting about the other 4 contenders, and I think this lends further credence to this idea that if you're going to take down a front runner, you need to have very strong support around just one guy, or one film, or one alternate candidate. And there was so much support evenly spread among all other 4 candidates, including John Goodman, who was kind of a surprise nominee, that none of them could really come close.
So that's 3 for Moonlight, right? Supporting actor, adapted screenplay, and ensemble.
Mm-hmm. And Janelle sort of.
Yeah, breakthrough.
But we don't attach a film to the breakthrough category because she had a couple of films this year. Okay, supporting actress: Viola Davis, Naomi Harris, Janelle Monáe, Molly Shannon, and Michelle Williams. And I don't think this one was very close. It's Viola Davis.
Yeah, this other than score, this was the big blowout.
The only drama in this category is who was second? Was it Michelle Williams?
It was. I mean, it's generous to call anyone second in this category, but yes, it was Michelle Williams in second place.
I think that's the worst thing that could have happened to Michelle Williams was Viola Davis going supporting. I think Michelle probably would be an Oscar winner in a week if that hadn't happened.
Yeah, I just feel like there's going to be some horrible Sophie's Choice kind of year where we're going to see like a career best performance by Michelle Williams going up against like a career best performance by like Amy Adams. And one of them's going to extend a losing streak, and it's just going to be terrible. So, but yeah, Michelle Williams up to 4 Oscar nominations now, which I think has gotten less kind of attention than Michelle Williams or Amy Adams, who has 5 and was didn't get in this year for Arrival. But yeah, Michelle Williams is getting up there, and I really, really hope she gets that one project at some point soon. I think her best so far that she's been nominated for was Blue Valentine. But I can't begrudge. That was the Natalie Portman Black Swan year, and I can't begrudge that win.
Yeah, she'll win eventually. She's getting to that stage where they're really gonna. She and Amy Adams both, where they really want to give it to them.
And moving on to Best Actor, this is a very tight race at the Oscars. Last I checked, I think it was 14 experts were going with Casey Affleck, 14 were going with Denzel. But our 5 nominees are Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen, Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. And the Gold Derby Film Award is Casey Affleck.
Now, I don't know what this means for Oscars, but this wasn't close. Denzel was, I mean, it was Casey and Denzel, and then kind of everyone else, thank you for coming. But
Wow.
it was definitely these two got by far the lion's share of votes, but it was almost 2-1 Casey to Denzel in terms of vote totals. It was really kind of striking, which in hindsight, given that we have 10 Best Picture nominees and we didn't nominate Fences for Best Picture, which was kind of surprising to me. I guess this makes kind of sense that that we had more support overall for Manchester.
And I think going back to the Dev Patel thing, our people did not like Lion very much. It's not up for Best Picture here, but it was loved at BAFTA. So not just him, but the screenplay. So you can't necessarily just go by, don't necessarily take these results. The other thing that you can't count with us, with our people, is this on the ground campaign. Denzel and Dev are shaking a lot of Oscar voter hands. They don't have the chance to, other than 2 or 3 people, shake hands of Gold Derby voters. So that really plays a part.
Which what we're basically saying is that anyone who wants to win a Gold Derby award should just come visit all of us editors and all of our individual voters across the country and across the world. That would help out a lot. Yeah.
And in the race for Best Actress, it looks like only 3 of our nominees are up for the Oscars, which is kind of surprising. All 5 of our guys were up for Best Actor. Our nominees for Best Actress are Amy Adams, Arrival, Annette Bening, 20th Century Women, Isabelle Huppert, Elle, Natalie Portman, Jackie, and Emma Stone, La La Land. The Gold Derby Film Award winner is Emma Stone.
Yeah, and this was I feel like this would have been a nail biter, given the amount of support that we gave to Jackie overall. It's nominated 8 times. We're one of the only awards groups that nominated it that heavily. I would have expected it to be closer than it was. And here's another case where you need just one alternative if you're going to topple a frontrunner, because Natalie and Isabel divided support so evenly between the 2 of them that Emma Stone pretty much ran away with it.
And we snubbed Ruth Negga, and we snubbed Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Poor Meryl. But I think she's good. We've given her, 6 or something like that. I think we gave it to her for adaptation and maybe for Doubt. We've certainly done well by Meryl over the years.
I don't think she's losing any sleep.
She'll comment angrily and start trolling us.
Mm.
I would love that, by the way. If Meryl Streep, if you would like to troll us at Gold Derby, we would be honored because you would do it so well. You just, you know.
She's going to play you in the movie.
Well, that brings us to our final two categories of the night, Best Director and Best Picture. Starting with the nominees for Best Director, you've got Damien Chazelle, La La Land, Barry Jenkins, Moonlight, Pablo Larraín for Jackie, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Denis Villeneuve for Arrival. And the Gold Derby Award goes to, no surprise here, Damien Chazelle, La La Land. This was a blowout. This was a blowout.
Wow. Good for him. Very young. I'm sure he's the youngest Gold Derby director winner of all time, right?
I don't doubt that. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I can't think of any other, like, you know, it would have had to have been an upset winner for us to be
Here's
younger.
how young he is. He's younger than both of you.
Yeah. He's a freaking millennial.
What have you both done in your lives compared to Damien?
Hey, we're senior editors at Gold Derby.
And we just gave Damien Chazelle an award, so he would be nowhere without us.
Every time I've seen him out, he knows everything going on. He knows the stories that are being written and the odds and all that. So, and you know, one thing I like about him, and this doesn't apply just to him, but he pretty much, if he's been available, is making, every time there's a Guild Award and a La La Land is nominated, he's there. He doesn't win an award like at the Sound Awards Sunday night, but he went over there after the Writers Guild just to support his sound people. I love that.
Yeah.
That is, and it takes a lot of work for him because he got 14 Oscar nominations. Everyone on his team pretty much got nominated, so he's got to be in 2-3 places at once.
Mm-hmm. He's, I think, been to most of the Guild events.
And that brings us to the top award of the night, Best Picture of the Year. We nominate 10 films, no 5 to 10 sliding scale thing. We nominate 10, and those nominees are Arrival, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Jackie, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, Moonlight, Nocturnal Animals, Silence, and Zootopia. And the Gold Derby Award goes to, I'll leave everyone in suspense, this is so hard to predict, La La Land. And by a comfortable margin, not as big a blowout as director, strangely enough. So Moonlight was in second place and Arrival was in third place. They both had ample
Arrival, so close.
Wow. So no wins at all for Arrival.
Nope. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nope.
You have to rub
Over
it in,
10.
Chris. Don't rub it in.
I'm afraid that's what's going to happen Sunday, though.
Yeah. Well, at least in that case, because, you know, I mean, we had predicted Arrival would be nominated for 10 Oscars as well as, you know, it got 10 Gold Derby nominations. If it had lost 10 Oscars, it would have been worse than losing 8. So if it gets shut out, at least it won't be as historic.
True.
But yeah, Manchester was 4th. But yeah, the top 3 were really where the strength was: La La, Moonlight, and Arrival.
So La La comes away with how many trophies?
9. And
Wow.
I don't know about the like I have to do some math and, you know, and do like some bookkeeping on the history of the Gold Derby Awards. I don't know if that's a record. It could be. I can see we might have given maybe Lord of the Rings, Return of the King more, or, you know, really big blowout movies like that. But yeah, this was a decisive victory, pretty much across the board. I mean, most of the categories it won decisively, and most of the categories well, the ones it lost, some of them it lost decisively. Like, it wasn't really that big a factor in like ensemble and makeup and hair. But yeah, it was nominated in 14 categories because it had the 3 nominations for Best Song, and it only lost 5.
Crazy.
It's fun. These things are always fun. I can't believe we've been doing it 15 years. Wasn't the very first winner ever? Isn't that Marcus's favorite movie of all time?
Eternal Sunshine is my favorite.
Yeah, I think that was our first winner ever for Best Picture.
Might have been one of the early ones. I think it might have been a couple years in.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that was the first year. I know it won. So
Yeah, but this
Marcus wasn't around to even. I don't think you were even voting with us then, right?
I don't think so. I'm looking now. Our first winner was Chicago in 2002.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then Lord of the Rings: Return of the King in 03, Eternal Sunshine in 04, Brokeback Mountain 05, The Departed 06, No Country for Old Men in 07, Wall-E 2008, The Hurt Locker in 2009, The Social Network in 2010, The Artist in 2011, Argo in 2012, 12 Years a Slave in 2013, and then we had Boyhood 2 years ago and Mad Max Fury Road last year.
And I know over a couple of years, like when we moved from private message board balloting to the new system that we have now, that's more automated. You know, I know The Artist and Argo and 12 Years a Slave. I think people were looking at us going like, are we just going to be, you know, the Oscar rubber stamp every single time? And so the last 2 years, I was really excited to see Boyhood and especially Mad Max win, because Mad Max wasn't really considered like a strong contender for the win for Best Picture, and we still it swept last year. It actually won 8 last year, so it came close to what La La Land did this year. So that was nice to see. So I hope you know, people aren't looking at us and going like, oh, you're just rubber stamping the Oscars. We don't do that every year, and we don't know for sure how many of La La Land's nominations it will win. It did lose a lot at BAFTA and won a measly 5 awards at BAFTA.
Well, thanks everybody. You've got till Sunday, late Sunday afternoon on the Oscar predictions to make your predictions. Get in there and do it. I mean, what's funny to me, and we've got several thousand already have made predictions, but so many will make changes this week. And the sheer number of people that will make their very first predictions like Saturday and Sunday always startles me. It's possible we even double up the number that we are like as of today. So a lot of people get really invested in the whole process like right now.